Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw News Brief. Be sure to join us this Saturday. We're going to be doing Double or Nothing live reactions right here at youtube.com/Steve Larson.
That's right.
Anyways, Larson, that's Saturday. Today's Thursday. Back to the D's.
What's in the news?
Yes.
Another day, another instance of Jim Cornette saying something stupid.
Oh, did he stick his head up his ass once again? What a shock.
And his foot in his mouth. So after Becky Lynch made a very emotional announcement on Raw announcing her pregnancy, Cornette took to his podcast to make some less than congratulatory comments about the news. Seth Rollins was on After the Bell with Corey Graves. He was asked by Corey to his thoughts on those comments, and this is what the architect had to say. Transcripts of this via Fightful. Steve, you want to take this?
Yeah, sure, no problem. He said this: Jim Cornette is a legend in our industry and someone I personally work with in my time in Ring of Honor. For him to come out and say some real negative things, some real misogynist things about women in general and pregnancy in the industry, it kind of caught me off guard and made me lose a lot of respect for someone that a lot of people already lost respect for. I was still holding out hope that somewhere along the line that there was a personal connection between Jim and I, that he would think twice before making some egregious comments about women, about my wife, that were just... I can't even forgive him. On a grander scale, the mindset that goes into that needs to be eradicated all around. It's so disgusting. I wanted to address it because I want to make it very clear that I'm so proud of my fiancée, Becky, and the courage it takes for her at this point in her career to make a decision. She's 33 years old. Once you get to 35, you start running risks with these pregnancies. She made an incredibly tough decision. She went out there on national television and had to say things the way she wanted to. The fact of the matter is, she's the most talented woman I've ever seen, and she's going to be just fine being pregnant, making money, doing all right. Everything Jim Cornette said is complete nonsense. Now, we generally, I personally don't, Jim Cornette, you know, he says something asinine seemingly on a weekly basis to try to pop his numbers. Who knows how much of it is bullshit and how much he actually really thinks. I don't know. I don't care. But we generally don't give him the time of day on the show.
He's on my pay no mind list for the most part.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's what's sad is that he is, if the only thing you know of Jim Cornette is what you see him on Dark Side of the Ring, he's great. You'd be like, wow, this guy is terrific.
In terms of wrestling historians, he's pretty high up on the list. Agreed.
With the exception of like stuff that he said about breaking kayfabe, killing the industry on the John Stossel episode. You know, I don't agree with that, but you know, he made a case. You know what I mean? There was nothing egregious about that. But seemingly every week he's got another stupid thing, you know, to say about people that it's none of his business saying this. I looked up the quote right here.
Yeah.
And he says stuff like this: well, she's still got many more years before the effing easy bake oven gets shut off. She can have all those problems like a descended stomach and stretch marks and hemorrhoids and hormones problems and mood swings and all those other joys of motherhood later on when she ain't making $1 million a year. She got plenty of time left. What would you do if your wife came home and said, instead of making $1 million next year, I'm basically just going to be a raging bitch for the next 9 months and then give you more shit to worry about around the house? That's the stupidest shit that's beyond stupid. That's beyond stupid.
It is. And it's none of his goddamn business either.
No, it isn't. It absolutely isn't.
It's none of his business. It's just keep its mouth shut.
And people will still defend him. People will still come to his defense and say, oh, well, he's just this or that or the other one. No, I don't give a shit. There's no room for this. Exactly. So I love that Seth Rollins, you know, an influential voice in the industry, talked out about this. I'm really happy about that. Good for him.
Yeah, me too.
Good for him.
And he did it in a very, I mean, he was strong in his point, but he didn't stoop to Cornette's level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, he made his point. He made it sensibly and without resorting to insults. And hats off to Seth for making such a clear point to tell Jim Cornette to what's a good term? Kick rocks.
Yeah, exactly.
To get lost.
Yeah,
you know?
beat feet.
Yes.
Make like a tree and get
hats
out of
off
here.
to Seth. Well done. You know, you like to think that Cornette at some point would learn to stop saying stupid stuff.
No, it's probably just going to get worse. It's like it's
going to get worse.
It's the lone way that he can find relevance in his
The only way he gets attention is by opening his mouth and spewing out stupid stuff.
It's like, oh, I see my podcast numbers dropping. Let me go ahead and say something asinine so that they'll pop again. People will come and watch my car wreck. Anyways, let's get to happier news. Ric Flair, there's been some question as of late. Will the leader of the Four Horsemen go back to WCW? What's his status with WWE, Larson? What's going on?
1993 anymore, Steve. There's no WCW to go back to. So yeah, there's been a question. Is he under contract with WWE? Is he not? Meltzer suggested fairly recently the Nature Boy didn't have a deal with WWE.
Uh-oh, WCW bound.
But Flair put all that talk to rest recently because he tweeted out a picture of his signature on a brand new deal, I would assume with WWE, with the caption that said, limousine riding, jet flying, styling, profiling, then now forever with at WWE.
Woo! Give him his podcast back.
So it looks like Ric Flair won't be joining Sting in AEW then. Speaking of Sting in AEW, Meltzer recently discussed possibility of him showing up in said company, saying the transcript of this via Wrestle Talk. But with Sting, I've got to think there is smoke to the fire. Number one, because he's tweeting about AEW. All right, let's put this case together. One, he's tweeting about AEW. Sting's not going to do that because he's not paying attention to anything unless he's got an interest in it. Yeah. And they're kind of acknowledging it. And also, when I think about it, I get no answer.
When he asks about it, he gets no answer.
When he asks about it, I get no answer.
Yeah.
If there is nothing to it, I'm sure they would say there's nothing to it. So I think there's something to it. Meltzer's on the case. If they already have a deal, they're going to announce it on their terms because sometimes they'll wait a couple weeks. And if they don't have a deal, it's probably something they're at least contemplating.
That's a big name, man. That's a big get for the AEW. That's great. Hold off until you have fans. I want to hear that fan pop when Sting comes out.
I know.
Just give it time.
Hear his theme, a man called Sting, Surfer Sting, back, AEW. Man, that'd be incredible.
RoboCop next to him, bring him in.
Hell yes, man.
That'd be great.
Heck yeah.
I love that. I like that. The idea that he says Sting is only tweeting about AEW because if he wasn't signed with them or if he wasn't going to sign with them, why would he be paying attention? Like Sting probably has, I don't know who Sting is following on Twitter, but I wonder if it's like a bunch of like gardening sites or whatever his hobby. I don't know what his hobbies are.
I don't know what his hobbies are either. I mean, like one of them was he tweeted about AEW in reference to Lance Archer doing well there because he seems to be a Lance Archer fan.
So let's see. His last tweet was 10 days ago. It was a retweet of Zack Ryder, now Matt Cardona, with one of those weird giant Sting hero heads from like the early 90s. And Sting retweeted it with a comment says, "Love it."
So
there
on
you go.
May 10th, 11 days ago, he did a quote tweet from the Murder Hawk himself, which Lance Archer said always wanted to step in the ring with Sting. He responded, "Glad to see you getting a much-deserved shot in All Elite Wrestling."
He tweeted out somebody tweeted out a picture of a child's birthday cake with the He-Man Sting and He-Man Triple H figures surrounding it. And then she said, "This year's cake for my WWE loving kid. It's not perfect, but it was made by me with love and dash of frustration." And then he said, "Happy birthday to your little Stinger."
On May 9th, he retweeted something for WWE, and it says, "Who's going to win Money in the Bank?" But then also, 2 days prior, good to see Jake the Snake DDT healthy and back on national TV in a prominent role. One of the all-time great heels. Of course, Jake, they did a RoboCop tweet after that, too. Jake, he's in the AEW.
Yeah, that's true. He is. I want to see a triple threat. Arn, Sting, Jake. That's what I want to see. He did a congratulations to Triple H. So yeah,
it's only 2 tweets, man.
The Stinger is all over the place, but yeah, he might be at Daly's place soon enough. I'd like
maybe as soon as this Saturday.
Put him in Darby. I know they got like Taz doing this weird thing with Darby Allin. Darby, hey Darby, hey Darby.
Maybe
choke him out.
He's blowing off Taz. Maybe if Sting comes to him, tries to give him advice, be like, "Well, this is Sting. No disrespect to Taz. Taz is great. Sting."
Sting is like, he's like, "Hey Darby, have you ever thought about reading up about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ?" And then Darby says, "Do you work for Evolve?" Anyways, That's it for News Brief. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.